Hello, DXCers. Hi, my name is Lewis Richards, and welcome to the 21st Century Human podcast, this time as a video vlogcast, I think.
I think that's
a vlog?
Close enough.
I think it's a vlog. Anyway, so the 21st Century Human podcast is where we interview people, and we ask you about your perception of technology, how you use it on a daily basis, and we frame it up around our 21st Century Human model. So I'm joined today by Dan Hushon. Do you want to just introduce? Well, everybody, DXCers, you should know who Dan is.
Dan Hushon.
Yeah. So, in the context of our 21st Century Human model, we've got sort of 7 sections that go around a wheel, and we talk about a little bit about sensing. And with sensing, we're talking about how do you keep up in current and with context in the market? What kind of tips and tricks do you have for doing that kind of thing? So,
well, my primary mechanism is certainly my social feeds.
Cool.
Right. I've worked in the industry for an awful long time, and all the way back to Sun, where we still have a lot of really senior engineers who are tipping the marketplace. Right. They work in leadership roles at Google, work in leadership roles at Amazon, Netflix, eBay. We can go down through the list where they're leaders. And so what's really happened is we've maintained the community over 25 years, and it's grown as the Clouderati and others have come forward. So the social streams are certainly my primary mechanism for keeping up with news, because quite honestly, when they retweet something, it's probably interesting to me. And so I do an awful lot of work.
Do you feel comfortable digital skill-wise about maintaining those things? Do you, in terms of using some, navigating the feeds? Because sometimes people find it a bit of a hose pipe, and it's hard to, get into using Twitter and Facebook as a research platform as well as just a, broadcast funnel.
I actually find it pretty easy, pretty interesting. I mean, I have some lists that I can manage. So if I fundamentally have a topic, I've got my lists all set up. So I can go in. I know what different people are focusing in on. So if I really do, wonder about network, I've got my networking list, and I've got those people. And I use those lists aggressively as well to help me get order in the madness.
So the next thing we look at is personal brand. So we obviously, and social media and personal brand, how you show up online and stuff like that. So, and do you take an active interest in that? There's been, you've been a kind of a bit of a figurehead and stuff like that. There's a kind of a personal and a business onus on you to be out there, I suppose.
It's tough, right? So I certainly don't think that I have a personal brand per se. It's really hard to control the personal versus professional elements in social media, right? Unless you have independent accounts, and that starts to become a little bit cumbersome. So what I do is bring some of my personal beliefs into my business world, right? Whether it's some social issues that I care about a lot, and I do use the business platform to help to drive awareness and other elements in those elements. But elsewise, that what I really want to be known for is actually being a team leader and actually helping other people to get the exposure. So if you look at what I'm trying to do with the broader community of technologists at DXC, it's actually help each of them build their own personal brands, right? Because this isn't about me, it isn't about DXC, it's about them. And their skills and their competency in building their network so that they become much more valuable employees in the future.
Sound. So then we look at sort of tools and abilities, what we class as digital fabric. And we're really interested in getting people to take like a bit of a hard audit about their skill, their confidence and their competence with the everyday and the tools and things like that. So from an ecosystem, what's your main ecosystem? Are you a Mac guy? Are you a Linux guy? Or are you an Office guy? Are you a bit of everything?
I play around. I'm a code guy.
You're a code guy, yeah.
So at the end of the day,
it's meta.
It's meta. So if it's Go or Play, and I'm screwing around with Swift right now. I've always been a data guy, so it's code to process data. So I've built a huge number of parsers in my life, and I kind of evaluate the quality of tools based upon their ability to parse data, because at the end of the day, in this data-driven digital world, if you can't wrangle data easily with a tool base, it's going to be really, really hard for you to do your job.
Cool. And what's in your bag? What's your laptop choice? Do you have a winner? Do you have multiple devices?
I'm a multiple device carrier.
Yeah.
I'm almost clean. The Pro is almost closed the gap now, because I can literally put an Amazon desktop up, and I can get to it from my iPad. My iPad has the touch screen that I want, so I can actually scribble and draw. So my iPad with a clamshell keyboard is almost now my carryable. Yeah. The only problem comes down to presentation editing, which unfortunately I do more than writing code anymore. So that I do fall back on.
Well, I suppose with 365 you can kind of, it depends what you're doing, you can pretty much go across the board.
You almost can. The problem is that when you begin to incorporate graphics and other elements, the web-based presence is a little more cumbersome.
Okay, cool. And we live in this kind of world of, we teach people the 21st century human around this kind of idea of hyper-productivity. So building automation utility for yourselves. So we're always interested in asking people, do you have any kind of automation or productivity tips that you use yourselves to kind of, cut down some of the noise in their daily life?
I use a huge number of tools to cut it down. I mean, I travel a lot, so I have an aggregated travel model built to help me understand where I have to go when. Google's now replacing that model, so I can literally load up my travel into my Google Calendar and it'll tell me when to leave. But that wasn't true a little while ago, so I had a productivity tool around traveling. I do a productivity tool around my calendar to make sure that I'm reserving enough time in my calendar to do the things that I care about. So I do have a top 10 list that I manage on a monthly basis. What are the top 10 things that I really want to accomplish every month? And I actually then color code my calendar, and I use the meta tags to actually tell me whether or not I'm spending enough time on the things that really matter to me, like our technical talent program, right? That one is one of the top 10 for me right now. And so we just did a board presentation, and I spent about 4 days in aggregate, working on that project over the course of the month. So that was pretty awesome.
I think the color coding is a good idea. It's one of the top tips we find when we do our training courses as well, is these little skills that actually being effective at using your calendar, being better at using it. There's some really good things you can do to actually, call out what's good work and what's, productive work to be done.
But the other interesting thing, if you have the right classes set up for you, you can look at your week in review and what's in front of you, and you can say, oh my God, it's all red, it's all internal meetings. Well, that's broken, right? So, how do I have some client meetings? How do I have some partner meetings mixed in there just to keep the ball moving? You begin to recognize that it's very easy in a transformational company like DXC to over-rotate towards focusing on your belly button on the inside.
Yeah. So we next we look at we call it collaborating at speed. So but it's not collaborating as in creating documents. We're talking more about how do you share knowledge with others and stuff like that. And I know the way you share knowledge with others anyway, because you're really open about it. But have you got anything you'd like to anything you'd recommend, or you'd like people to do better at, or you think they could do, be more positive about in terms of sharing?
Well, I think I saw something great this week. So I'm going to start out. We formally now have launched Facebook Workplace into our company as one of the collaboration tools, given that the two companies don't have integrated identity, and that actually prevented us from really crossing the boundary of collaboration on knowledge the way that we wanted to. So what I saw last week is we had almost a 30% jump in activations on Workplace and about a 50% jump in mobile use. So that's telling me that people are beginning to get on and share.
Yep.
And it is a tool to help us collaborate, but I think the other piece that I'm really passionate about is making sure that people don't think that there's a unary singleton out there that is the winner. Teams are going to be the most productive with the tools that actually support what that team has to accomplish. Okay. And so for me, it's a walk away from the lowest common denominator and towards the tool that's fit for purpose, so that you really are creating the productivity that the team needs.
And from a leadership point, a digital business leadership thing, that's the kind of thing you're encouraging all of us to be better at, to be more confident, more capable, and kind of walk the walk a bit more in terms of how we spread our knowledge around what we do.
No question. I mean, if you're, we need to run the only way we're going to win in the digital world is to build scale through the organization. And that really means making sure that somebody who makes a mistake, who talks about it, that mistake doesn't get made by another person in the organization. That's a win. When somebody learns something good and somebody else learns it and extends it to something even better, that's a win for the organization, so long as you're talking about it. And so what we have to recognize is that even right down to DevOps, right, and the team of bringing developers and operations into one unified team. If we're not a team, then we're not going to execute like our clients need to in the market.
Okay, excellent. And the last one we have is around lifestyle. It sounds a bit daft, but we do want execs and people in the business we're so busy. We want people to make sure that they're actually balancing out a little bit more well. So do you have anything that you do for a wellness point of view? I mean, if you're traveling a lot and that kind of stuff, do you do anything to monitor your health or make sure that you're trying to be healthy, that kind of stuff? Any kind of quantified stuff?
I have all kinds of quantified stuff. Right? Yeah. I've got a Fitbit, I've got a Samsung S3 Frontier that I'm playing with and using, and playing a little bit in Tizen, so that's kind of fun. Yep. I've got the new heart rate monitor for the iPhone that'll actually do a medical quality EKG. For a couple of reasons. One is just to know what's going on and see the data, and then the other one is, let's make sure that given heart issues are in the family, how do I make sure that I'm watching myself? So, and I'm unfortunately at that age where those things start to happen.
No, it's important, I think, that kind of skill set, though, to at least be aware of it is probably an important thing to say, pay a bit more attention to.
But I think one of the most important wellness things is actually to understand and monitor your own attention. I think one of the things that we don't do exceedingly well is we tend to not take the breaks that we know that we need. We don't tend to recognize when our productivity is dropping on a task that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then what do you do, right, to refocus yourself, right? So I happen to enjoy playing video games. So I actually find that video games for me are an incredible concentrator. And so they'll actually reground my brain if I take 10 minutes and go and just play a game of spades or a Sudoku puzzle or something that just helps me to concentrate on that game and solving that problem.
Yeah.
And that actually allows me to come back out a little bit fresh when I'm working on another problem.
That's a good idea. That's a top tip. Right, so we're going into our quick fire round now. So this is you can say answer one question or the other, or you can say both. Right. So Apple or Android?
Both.
Okay, both. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
That means he's a proper geek. There we go. Excellent. 365 or Google Apps?
You should ask me which Star Trek.
Yeah, which Star Trek? Well, that's yeah. Well, we get into. We might have a personality clash.
All right.
Which one you like? So 365 or Google Apps?
I'm a 365 guy.
Okay, and WhatsApp, Slack, or another?
Oh boy, I'm a big Slack fan. Always
Slack
have
fan?
been. I think the bot landscape's awesome.
Okay, cool. Dropbox or SharePoint?
Dropbox, sure.
Okay.
That's easy.
So VR or AR?
AR.
AR, cool. Okay. Fitbit or Apple Watch?
Fitbit.
Fitbit. Okay. Podcasts or YouTube?
That's a good one. Hangouts to YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. And iTunes or Spotify?
Spotify.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Black cabs or Uber or Lyft?
Well, I'd be, company does Lyft.
Yeah.
I think Uber cars are a little cleaner.
Yeah. So Amazon or eBay?
eBay.
eBay, okay, that's an interesting one actually. Lots of people actually said, we've asked that question, people said, I haven't used eBay in months. Whenever Amazon seems to be ramping.
I still do, right? I mean, it's just, it's fun.
Yeah, okay, cool. Right, so our next little feature is called Desert Island Apps. So these are, if you were marooned on a desert island, and we, for copyright purposes, we have ripped this off Desert Island discs on Radio 4. What are the top 3 apps you couldn't operate without, or you couldn't get by without? And we give you your phone, and we give you your email, and we give you Maps as standard. So what are the other 3 apps that you really like?
If I'm on a desert island, I don't know that I need Maps.
No, not necessarily, no.
All right, but Spotify, music's key.
Yep, okay.
Right? That's a refocuser. Do I have the internet?
Yeah, you can have the internet. Yeah, you can have the internet. That's the standard. Connectivity is not a problem.
All right, then I have my SSH app that allows me to get into the cloud.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't think no one's ever said that before.
Because with that, I can RDP over SSH, and I can fundamentally code on Amazon, so yeah. I'm in good shape. And then a game. I think I'd probably pick something like Bridge, Jim Rummy, just to stay focused.
Excellent, brilliant. Okay, so the final thing is what we call our digital decision. So when we talk to execs and stuff, and we talk about 21st century human, we're trying to get people to bridge this gap a bit about paying more attention and developing better confidence and capabilities. So what drives you personally to keep up with these skills and topics? I know it's part of your job, but there's got to be like a personal drive as well. Is there something that, like kind of mantra or something that you live by that you think is important for us to kind of learn from?
I wish. I just think at the end of the day, we all owe it to ourselves and our families to invest the time to advance our careers. And I have a really strong sense of that personal responsibility of taking control of where you're going, and that means you need to stay current. If you like what you're doing, you stay current with it. If you want to do something new, then you go and you take the Udemy courses or the Coursera courses to learn those things and determine whether or not you're in the right place. And then broadly for me, I love data. I've always loved data because I actually think it's almost the explorer in me. I mean, I used to take apart toasters just to see how they were wired, right? But what's starting to happen with data is you're beginning to see how the world's wired, and that's really fun. So I've always been really, really focused on how do we actually get more insight out of data. And so for me, coding is one of the things that I have to stay current on, along with tools like TensorFlow and AI and the broader landscape to make sure that I really feel very connected to the message, and I actually believe that's important for our clients as well. Our clients begin to see technical staff with evidence, personal evidence, as being much more powerful than people who say, you should go to the cloud. Well, have you done it? No. Well, if you haven't done it, then why should I trust you to take me there? So if you haven't, turned up an Amazon volume, run your blog on Azure, coded in Lambda, right, played with Greengrass, then I really think that you don't deserve a position as an advisor to our clients.
I think that point really sums up our concept of 21st century human, it being adaptive and immersive. You've got to get hands-on with this stuff, and I can't think of a better way to wrap up the call, really. So thanks, Dan. And,
you're welcome.
Follow Dan Hushon. He's on @Dan Hushon on Twitter. I'm @Stroker on Twitter as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again. Cheers.
See you soon.